Hi friends, and welcome back. So today we will be speaking about the three aspects of magnetism, which are energy and will. Second is your concentration. And third is the enthusiasm. And before we move on to this subject, I would just like to take you back where we established two things in our last podcast. And one was that matter is a manifestation of energy. And the second thing, that just like a bar of magnet, we can also generate that magnetism within ourselves. So, coming to this topic, I will be sharing with you a lot of experiences, a lot of stories, just for you to help understand these three aspects. So when we talk about the energy and will, let me just share with you that I am no expert on these techniques or these teachings. I'm sharing something which is coming from these line of masters. And Paramahansa Yogananda said that our energy is the link between our body and mind. So our mind cannot act directly on our body. For example, if I will just ask you to get up from wherever you're sitting right now, and you think you want to get up, you will not be able to get up just by thinking. You'll have to send some energy to your legs, to your hands, and that energy will help you lift up from the chair where you're sitting. And so this energy, which is the link between our body and mind, it's governed by the willpower. And this willpower which we're talking about is the willingness to do something. It's like a regulator. It increases or decreases the flow of energy in our body. So for example, if I ask you to pick up an empty bucket of water, now you know that bucket of water is empty. You'll just go and you'll just fling it up, you'll just fling it with your hands. You will not have to use much of the energy. But if you know that bucket of water is full of water, what will you do then? You will use your willpower, you'll send more energy in your muscles, you'll send more energy in your hand to pick up that bucket of water. So this is where your will or willingness really comes into play. And Paramahansa Yogananda ji used to say, the greater the will, the greater the flow of energy. And the greater the flow of energy, the greater will be your magnetism. And if your magnetism is great, then you can attract to your lives whatever you are focusing on. Maybe people. If you want people to come and help you in certain times, you can help those people also to get attracted to you. You can attract solutions, you can attract opportunities, and you can attract any matter or material manifestation that you need. So just as when an electricity flows through an electrical wire, it creates a magnetic field around it. Similarly, when you develop your human magnetism, you also create a magnetic field around it, which we sometimes call the aura. And if your aura is strong, you just don't attract people, but you can also desist from negative things coming to yourself. How do you behave when you're happy? How does your energy lift up? If you get a good news, your chest goes back, you start feeling good about yourself, you have a smile on your face. This is where the energy is flowing in your body and it's lifting from the south to the north in your own body. This willingness is, when we say, it's instigated by enthusiasm, which is a second point. Because whenever you are very enthusiastic to do something, you really don't have to strain. There's an automatic flow of energy within you. For example, it's so difficult for you to get up in the morning during winters to go to school or to go to your office. You just don't have enthusiasm at that point of time. But if on that very day, you're going for a vacation and you have a holiday to go to, how much of that enthusiasm does not even let you sleep? Forget the winter, forget the cold shower which you'll have to take. You just get up and you just want to go because you were interested to go for that holiday. It's because of that enthusiasm. Let's say, just take another example. You come back home after a long day's work. You're really very tired mentally and you don't feel like doing anything. What do? You just come home, you plonk yourself on that sofa. You don't even feel like, really getting up and watching the television. You just flip the channels on your remote control. You don't even want to use that much of your mind on the television. You're so tired. But at that point of time, what if a friend calls up and he tells you, I've got those 2 tickets for the show or a movie or a concert which you were really eager to watch from a very long time. What happens then? Automatically you get this flow of energy within yourself and you just get up, you go take a shower. You go out with your friend, spend a couple of hours watching that show or a concert which you decided, and you come back, you have dinner with that person, you spend a couple of hours. And where did all that energy come from? That energy just came from your enthusiasm. So Swami Kriyananda used to say, if you want to attract luck, then expect to be lucky. Just don't wait for luck to come to you. You have to go out there and meet your luck halfway. And this is what enthusiasm does. So we all, in India, we all play cards, and we're so used to playing cards that sometimes during Diwali, there is this new person who comes and joins the table, and this person does not know anything about playing cards. That person is just interested to learn something new. He's excited about playing cards. And what happens invariably? That person who does not know how to gamble, he does not know how to play cards, they invariably win. And why is that so? And what do we call it? We call it the beginner's luck. Because that person did not have the fear of losing. He did not know about winning. He was just enthusiastic about learning something new. And this is the power of enthusiasm. It can attract luck to you. So my daughter, she plays badminton, and last year, somewhere around beginning of last year, she was playing the district level, and one of her friends, she was playing in under 13 and she won the competition in under 13. And her parents had filled up another form for her to play the under 16 and just for her practice. So this girl, after winning the under 13, she went on to the next tournament, which was for under 16, and somehow she reached the finals. Now, she used to play well, but that game, all of us wanted to see, because it was kind of like a little history, a 13-year-old girl playing with a 16-year-old girl. And so that 16-year-old girl, we also saw her game, and her game was also very nice. And she was sure to win that game. But this girl, she had so much of enthusiasm, that 13-year-old girl, because she had already won under 13 competition, and she was playing the finals with a 16-year-old girl. She did not care to win. She did not care to lose. She was only interested to play a game and enhance her game. And she was excited about playing the finals with a 16-year-old girl. Whereas that 16-year-old girl, she had no enthusiasm. She was sure that she will win. And we could see it in her body language that she was just there, and that I will win, and she was very lax about it. But they started playing. So this young girl won 2 or 3 points because of a sheer energy. And then the pressure started building up on this elderly girl who was 16-year-old, because she was so conscious that this young girl was winning from her. And that negative enthusiasm, which turned to anxiousness, to turn to stress and tension, that girl actually lost the game. And this 13-year-old girl, she actually created a record of winning a district level under 16. And I was sitting there and I was just realizing and thinking about how much this enthusiasm played for this girl, and it helped us to attract, not if she wasn't lucky, but she actually attracted success to herself. So this is where we come, that you have to have enthusiasm in everything that you do. So this enthusiasm is what instigates that willingness. So whenever I talk about this, so many people ask me this question: how do we act enthusiastic in every day of our lives? We go to the same office, we go to the same profession, or wherever you go for work. How can we be enthusiastic every day? So I just tell them, that's where you will have to find your own way of getting enthusiastic, because that is the key. And if you can't be enthusiastic, then act enthusiastic. As Dale Carnegie said, act enthusiastic and you will be enthusiastic. So as we spoke, what are the signs of being enthusiastic? So, your shoulders go back, you feel lifted up in your energy, you have a smile on your face. Work like that. Because whatever work you do, you have to have that enthusiasm. Or you can also do, if you feel my work is so routine-like, then go beyond your work. Find how can you make an impact even in your own office. Help others. This is where you say that you work for something higher than your own self. So when you want to do something higher than yourself, it's beyond your ego. Because we sometimes are so fine with, okay, I've done my 8 hours of work. This is fine. I don't want to do more than this. But if you are aiming for something higher, it's like, I want to make an impact. I want to really create something which everyone will appreciate. And that's what causes that enthusiasm to ignite that energy within yourself. So we come to the third aspect, which is concentration. So what is concentration? So we all know concentration is the ability to focus on one thing at one point of time. But are we able to do that. If you will just realize, you sit down and just deep breathe for a minute and try to just focus on your breath. For most of us, it is so difficult to even focus on our own breath for say 60 seconds. We take around 30 or 15 to 20 breaths in that 60 seconds and we can't stick to our breaths. So this concentration you have to develop, because concentration actually is the key to be successful in any undertaking. You will see so many successful people in your life, they might not have the skills, they might not have the potential to do something, but those successful people will have these three characteristics. They will be full of energy, they will have an enthusiasm to do what they're doing, and thirdly, they will have a very high degree of concentration. For example, we all have done this experiment in our schools when we use the magnifying glass to burn a piece of paper. So what happens actually in that? So if you keep a piece outside, in broad daylight, what happens by the end of the day? The sun, which is scorching sunlight, is falling on that paper throughout the day. At the end of the day, that piece might just get a little crisp or it'll become a little yellowish in color, but nothing more than that. But the moment you get a magnifying glass and just concentrate that the same power of sun on that piece of paper, you will be able to burn that piece of paper in just a couple of seconds. So that's the power of concentration, and that's what we want. Yogananda used to say, your will cannot become willpower unless and until it can be focused with calmness and with control. So what he meant was, if you have the energy, if you have the enthusiasm, you will have to direct that enthusiasm and energy to the object of what you need with concentration. It cannot be dissipated in hundreds of things which you want at the same point of time. Your goal has to be clear and you have to really, really focus on that goal at that point of time. So once we understand these three concepts of concentration, of enthusiasm and energy, so what do we have to do? So let me help you understand where is a seat of concentration. So a seat of concentration is here at the point between our eyebrows. Sometimes when you have to put a thread into the needle also, how you really twitch your eyebrows, it's because at that point of time, you're really focusing on that task. Or you can say this is a seat of intelligence also. When you really want to get a solution, so many times, you take a pencil and you really tap or you scratch your forehead to think about something. You're really scratching to get a solution. So we call this the seat of concentration. So to attract something at a very high level of your thoughts and your ideas, what you have to do is whatever you need. So let's say I want to attract a big house to myself. So what I have to do, when you are totally calm, you're totally peaceful, and this is what we do post our meditations, and we will be talking about this on our next episode. So at that point of time, you are totally in control of yourself. You visualize that house in the future, what you want for yourself, and then concentrate at the point between the eyebrows. So what you have to do is, you have to send this beam of light from this point of concentration, and that beam of light will create its own magnetic field to attract people, solutions, opportunities, whatever you need to attract that house for yourself. Now this is only 50% of the task. Just sitting there, you will not be able to achieve that house. The balance 50% is what you have to do at the energy level and this material plane. You will have to work hard, you will have to go out and seek for opportunities, look for people and be very receptive and very open. And at the same time, be flexible. As we spoke in our first podcast, you are trying to attract something which is a fixed matter. So always be very flexible in whatever you're trying to achieve, because you don't know what God has in store for you. Probably, at this point of time with your limited consciousness, you're fine with that 500 square yard house. But probably because of your constant and diligent effort and throwing out that energy, and because of certain past karmas, you have the potential to attract, say, a big 2000 square yard house. So be flexible, always be open to those opportunities which are coming to you. And we will also talk about when you have multiple opportunities, how do you decide which is the best opportunity for you? This is where we move on to the science of intuition, which we will be talking about in our other podcasts. But for now, this is how you attract things. So similarly, if all your energies, all your efforts, all your thoughts, and all your aspirations align within yourself towards that goal, you will create a positive magnetic field around you to attract that. So this was just about the three aspects of magnetism, and in the next episode we will talk about how to develop a very strong and a positive magnetism. So the law of attraction is governed by the principle of like attracts like. So if you develop a magnetism, you have to make sure it's a positive magnetism, because the similar principle, if you are negative in your life, you will start attracting negative things in your life. So I look forward to you in the next podcast, which we would be doing next week, and we would be talking about the three principles which help you to govern and develop a strong magnetism, a positive magnetism, which would be meditation. Second would be visualization and affirmation. And the third principle would be environment, which plays a very, very strong role, because that is also another way of developing magnetism. So look forward to meeting you again. Thank you.